Hope comes and stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good morning. Man, my morning's already been adventurous, man. I'm like over the top. So I'm gonna... What? Great analysis. Thank you. I need some advice. Have a safe PAL wallet and have the seat alarm fetched. What the hell is this? Oh, I must be getting more popular because people keep coming on and trying to sell their shit on my page. That's progress. That's progress, man. So, God's perfect justice. It happened for me today. So, but let's get this shared out here first. I don't think anybody's here yet. At least it's not saying anybody is. No. Well, somebody popped on because the counter's up. So somebody probably is here then. Because that counter, yeah. It's like letting a 1-year-old count for you. It's never right. I think 2 + 2 is 2. All right, I'm done sharing. I hope everybody's having a good day. Happy Friday. Looks like we're going to be in the 12 by 12 today. Yeah. I'm just so happy. It finally happened. My justice finally happened. And I'm just happy about it. Hey, Bren, it's good to see you. I'm going to do my best, but I am like I'm very, very happy. I'm not excited because I'm not excited, but I'm very happy. For 4 years, I've been working on something, and it finally, I'm just going to share my screen real quick. Okay. Where is it? This right here. This right here. Unlicensed experienced bride. All right. Look at all. Okay. He received the first world became 2.7 million. Okay. 7 million to start all this. I've been fighting this right here for 4 years. This man has been set up. Right? Well, here's the thing. This guy right here, he's a good guy. Okay. He was used. And I am not going to let people get away with this shit. Nope. So I got a hold of the person that wrote it. I'm like, oh man, you only hit the tip of the iceberg. So I'm being interviewed next week for the newspaper. Billy Joel. Yeah. And yelling it for 4. And why am I happy? Because I was right. And everybody said I was crazy. They kept putting me down. They kept gaslighting, calling me names and all these other things. And now I can say, fuck you. Yeah. All right. Let's get to this. Deep breath. We're going to take a deep breath. About fucking time. Actually, let's redo that one too. Thank you, God. Now, what happened on Monday? On Monday, I said, I'm not reporting anymore. And then today I get news of that. And I tell you what would happen, but I can't. So, all right, let's get started. When the chips are down, 12 steps, 12 traditions, page 116. Now, they called it when the chips are down, but today I'm feeling my higher power's perfect justice. That's what that was for me. See how all this stuff always aligns when our will is aligned with God's. Welcome to Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. All right. So let's see here. All right. No, that's a good place to start. So we're going to start on the top of page 116 in the 12 by 12. And I'll go ahead and take some talking juice here if you want to grab your 12 by 12 and follow along. I know I always get more when I'm reading along. But when it comes to the big book, I already know what you're going to say next because I have the darn thing memorized. Now, that is a combination of two things. One, I read and heard it a lot, and I have dyslexia. So, I said hello, did I not? But I hello. Are there other people here and I don't know yet? That's a possibility. Okay. I've got to do something here real quick. And that is, we're just going to talk to God for a second. So God, I'm a little elated. And if you could just help me slow down a little bit so that I can do what I need to do for you. Thanks. All right. Now I'm giving it to God for this portion. Because right now I want to tell everybody. I mean, everybody I've ever talked to. So I shove it down their fucking throats. So that's why we're letting it go. So as we made spiritual progress, we saw through these fallacies. Now we're in step 12 here. What are the fallacies that they're talking about? So let's go back. We're going to go back to 115, right? Oh, well, because I asked you if you're here to say hello. Got it. Man, Bren, you are great at following direction. All right. I'm going to start at the top of page 115 because that's where it's going to start making sense, right? Okay. After we come into AA, if we go on growing, our attitudes and action towards security, emotional security, and financial security commence to change profoundly. Our demand for emotional security for our own way had constantly thrown us into the unworkable relations with other people. Though we were sometimes quite unconscious of this, the result always had been the same. Either we had tried to play God and dominate those about us, or we had insisted on being overly dependent upon them. Where people had temporarily let us run their lives, though we were still children, we felt very happy and secure ourselves. But when they finally resisted or ran away, we were bitterly hurt and disappointed. We blamed them, being quite unable to see that our unreasonable demands had been the cause. You know, people are only going to tolerate our bullshit for so long. Let's just put it clear. Okay? My wife is a very, 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 very patient person. I've never met a person more patient than my wife, maybe the Dalai Lama, but I never met him. Okay? She was ready to go. Living an alcoholic will make you neurotic. Yes, it will. If you don't have the help yourself, right? Lately I've been challenging places that I've been talking to that we don't just help the alcoholic, that we got to think about the family too. This is a family disease. Yeah. So I'm challenging people. I'm like, we're doing great helping the alcoholic here. What about the family? But, because if the family's involved and they're a part of, doesn't always happen, the chances increase. And why not do everything that we can to increase those chances, right? But what they're saying here is, when I was drinking, I was making unreasonable demands. And everybody knows the difference between a demand and a request. So let's put it into how we talk today. What is this? It's narcissism. I'm not a narcissist. Okay? I'm not. Most alcoholics are not narcissists, but we do have narcissistic traits. Yes, we do. We have a lot of traits of almost every single mental illness out there. That is why I continue to say You got to be in the program 6 months before you do trauma and because AA is going to clear away that wreckage. I had one therapist arguing with me, and I said, "Dude, do you not want me to make your job smoother? What is your problem?" Okay. See, I know that their intentions are wrong, so I just gave them a plain question. Why are you resisting help? Why are you? Don't you work with people that resist help all the time? And now you're resist. See, okay, that person has social anxiety. No, that's not what it is. Okay, okay. We got to be very careful on self-diagnosis. Everybody's running around saying they have ADHD with no diagnosis. And no, you have unchecked trauma, but we're going to call it something else. Okay, we got to clear away these things. We got to be very, very honest. But in this case, what we're talking about is not using other people to make us feel better. Happiness only happens at one point, and it's right now, and it's entirely up to me. Okay. But when we had taken so in one point, so watch this switch here. We go from being the boss, well, do what I say, blah, 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 blah. And then if that doesn't work, we're going to go to the other extreme. When we had taken the opposite tack and had insisted, like infants ourselves, that people protect us and take care of us, or that the world owed us a living, then the result had been equally unfortunate. It is. Because I go from, please help me. I mean, come on, Dion, what are we going for here? The only person that can help me is me. But I got to let other people guide me to that help. See, a good therapist understands that they can't solve your problems. See, they're human too. And they're not God. They are not God. And they know this. A good therapist is very patient. And what do? They let you talk until the answer comes out of your own mouth. Yeah. But a good therapist will guide you there with good qualifying questions. So, this often caused people we had loved most to push us aside or perhaps desert us entirely. Our disillusionment had been hard to bear. We couldn't imagine people acting that way towards us. We had failed to see that, though the adult in years, we were still behaving childishly, trying to turn everyone, friends, wives, husbands, and even the world itself, into protected parents. We had refused to learn the very hard lesson that the overdependence upon people is unsuccessful because all people are fallible, and even the best of them will sometimes let us down, especially when our demands for attention become unreasonable. Now, let me tell you something. I have every reason to hate my parents. And I have no reason to hate my parents. And I know that makes sense to you. Neither's not really any good. I have to become neutral. At some point, I had to say, Dion, yes, all of that did happen. Okay. But you are who you are because of you. Now, guess what? Okay. Since I take responsibility for the bad shit I do, I also get to take responsibility for the good stuff that I do. And I do. God allows me, He gives me grace enough to be able to do it. It's not Dion. Dion's the messenger. And you don't shoot the messenger. Right? It's one thing in 300 I didn't appreciate when he pushed the messenger down the wall. You don't do that anymore. Right? I know a lot of Greek mythology because for a long time I thought I was Greek. I didn't have a nationality, so I just picked one that I thought would fit the most. No, I'm British through and through. I'm so British. No wonder I love Monty Python. I love English humor more than American humor, right? I just sent this George Harrison song to my wife because she's a big Beatles fan, and he was supposed to bam bam wow wow oh my love, right? So I forget the name of the song, Hallelujah or something like that. But instead, he was playing it and turns it into the pirate song. All right. Anyway, as we made spiritual progress, we saw through these fallacies. Yeah. Now I'm being honest with myself. It's quite often I think of something, I'm like, no, that's not true. You know, those intrusive thoughts that we tend to get, or a quick thought, you know, they're hardly ever right. My first thought, I got to take that exercise, and that's okay now. I have settled that, and I do not take 2 seconds. I take 4. Yes, I take 4 seconds. I'm an alcoholic, and nobody notices the difference. No, they don't. There goes Jack. That's his new spot. I actually want to clean up the chair, but he loves sitting there, and that's the cat chair. So I'm going to let him have it. That's my bag. It's a very nice bag, but I love my cats. He's a good looking cat, isn't he? Yeah. He's definitely an orange cat. Definitely. He's just a good cat. I'm glad that, and the way that happened, my wife was over, well, she was working. She takes care of her dad. He was over at my brother-in-law's house, and he just hopped in the car. And she knew I'd want him. Well, the thing is when we were living over there, I had an orange cat. He was my favorite cat, and I named him Wade because I didn't want to yell Deadpool. But he insisted on being out, and somebody stole him. So she was thinking maybe it was him. And people still constantly that, oh, we think we saw your cat. I'm like, all those orange cats look alike. Trust me, if it was him, he would try and get in the house. He would look for me if he was over there. So it's not him. That's the reporter that's interviewing me next week, and it's gonna boom, motherfuckers. Okay. All right. It became clear that if we were ever to feel emotionally secure among grown-up people, we would have to put our lives on a give and take basis. I'm going to hold off there for a second and describe why. Okay. Now, I started drinking about the age of 12, 13. That's where I was emotionally stunted. Until I got into the program, I was emotionally 12, 13 years old. Yeah, it wasn't totally on you. See, we're born alcoholics. There's a big difference between alcoholism. Yeah, I'm going ahead and letting people slide with, because they're like, yeah, I'm a drug addict and alcoholic, and you know, instead of doing drugs today, I stayed sober. I'm like, that doesn't match. Sober is alcohol, clean's drugs, and there's a reason we separate them. Process may not be different, but don't you want to feel secure among grown-up people? Then you got to get in the right lane. Yeah, right. I tolerate the fact that you talk about your drug use in AA meetings. It doesn't belong there. But I can't change the world now, can I? I can just be a good example. Not only that, but if I'm ever going to feel secure, I'm going to have to put my life on a give and take basis, aren't I? Well, what is that? Well, I'm giving in that case because it's like, you know, do I focus on the fact that they said that, or should I listen to their share? Because, see, it's not really them, it's me. Well, am I going to cut off my nose to spite my face? Not on that one. We would have to develop the sense of being in partnership or brotherhood with all of those around us. That reminds me of tradition 1. And the theme of the traditions, of all the traditions, but mostly tradition 1, is sacrifice. Be a big part of the whole. See, I was talking to somebody today because they're not popular. They're kind of like me, but they're running something successful. And because of that, I'm not going to make any money. But at least now I know that the people that are in certain situations are going to be taken care of. And I can sleep better at night knowing that. Why? Because I've already got everything that I need. If God decides that I need more, then he will give it to me. And he did that today, actually. We would need to give. We saw that we would need to give constantly ourselves without demands for repayment. Now, let's hold on. Don't do it constantly. Well, it depends on how you take constantly. Because if you're giving all the time, you can't take. You only get a whole with a W. Yeah. And good question. That's what I like about you, Brandon, is you ask questions. And I will not give you shit for asking questions. And thank you for putting serious question after it, or I may have taken it as a joke. So, but yeah, we have to be a part of the whole. So all, the big picture, the broad highway. So it'd be the one with a W. So if we're constantly giving of ourselves, though, okay, so we got to be sure of that. There's a balance in there, right? We're put it on a give and take basis. Now we can put this towards our relationships, okay? You can take a look at a relationship and trust your intuition on that. Absolutely, Brent, anytime. I love questions. I love them because you make me feel smart when you do. I'm just being honest. And no, it doesn't go to my pride, but it does go to my self-esteem, right? That I'm doing the right thing. So when you ask questions like that, okay, because there are no stupid questions. There's just silly answers, okay? Or let's rephrase that. There are no stupid questions. They're just assholes, okay? There's so much to this that I'm going to tell you, the more questions you ask, the better chance you have at this. I'll tell you that. Because of what you're telling me is, Dion, I need to know more. I'd like to know more. Well, that's progress to me, okay? And it's hard for us to ask these questions. But what did I just say? I started drinking at 12, 13. Well, my brain doesn't fucking get it, man. It needs to be explained to me. Just like lying. People are like, Dion, why do you lie all the time? I'm like, I'm not lying. You're like, well, you're not being honest. I'm like, well, am I not being honest or am I lying? I don't understand. It was just a circle for me until somebody sat me down with the big book and said, right here, I was like, oh, well, fuck. Thank you. I can work with that. I can work with it. But I wouldn't have known if I didn't ask. Okay? And I'm the kind of person that you can ask me. I'm not going to give you shit. I might if I think it's a joke at first, but then I'll make an amends for it and I'll move on. Okay? When we persistently did this, we gradually found that the people were attracted to us as never before. Exactly, you could. And an alcoholic mind will do that because you're just trying to figure it out, right? So this is the way that I see it. Because when I was in sales, this was one of my big lines, okay? And it worked great because it's true, okay? I wasn't a salesman. If I knew you weren't going to get to the product or buy the product and I knew pretty quick, I was done. I didn't talk you into something you don't want or need. Didn't make me a very good, but I was a great trainer, okay? But I would tell my job is to give you all the information that you need to make a good decision. So please feel free to ask questions. Sobriety and recovery is the same thing for me. And people that ask questions make it. Even if is it this hole or that hole? Because who knew if I was talking about the big old hole in my stomach? See, I caught that too. What does that mean? It means we think alike. And isn't that comforting? To know that you think like me and I appear as a recovered alcoholic. I've done a lot of hard work on myself, man. I'm gonna tell you, we're no different. We're not any different. Yeah, there you go. See? And even if they failed us, we could be understanding and not too seriously affected. Yeah. So here's the key: trust. Okay. What we're talking about there is trust. So what happens is, like, for me, I'm an attraction, not promotion. I have a lot of followers, but that number will always be small. It'll probably always be small, and that's fine. I don't want it to be at 50 people. It's too much. It's overwhelming. Okay? It's just God, and this is the way I see it. If you found me, God did that. He did it for a very good reason. I don't know what it is. I don't need to know. I just need to trust. Okay. Because my higher power's love language is trust. Or right. So when it comes to people, this is the trust that I use. I trust that you're human. That's it. I don't do any more than that. I don't need any more than that. Why? Because, and even if they failed us, we could be understanding and not too seriously affected. See, sometimes people get mad at me here and then they disappear for a little bit and they come back. It's okay. What did they just say? They said, Dion, I love you so much that I'm going to take my anger out on you because I know you're not going away. Thank you. That's a compliment. Yeah. Yeah, we are the same. Oh, yeah. And crazy. Yeah. When I was drinking, people were like, yeah, I'm like, I've embraced my insanity and we get along great. Oh. Inside, I'm dying. Dying. Inside, that's not how I felt. Inside, I was screaming. Screaming. When we developed still more, we discovered the best possible full source of emotional stability to be God Himself. That's who I yell at. You'll hear me come on here. I'm like, I'm mad at God. Why? That doesn't mean I stop praying. It doesn't mean I stop going to meetings. No. Why? Because I don't want to take it out on my friends or my wife or my children. That's why. That's why. Yeah. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. Age of Aquarius. I'm Virgo. Virgo. Ha. We found that dependence upon His perfect justice. Oh, thank you, God, for giving my justice. I'm going to talk about it slightly only because it applies to this. About 4 or 5 years ago, I was a recovery coach and I saw something going on. I saw some fraud, insurance fraud going on. I called it out and I said, no, I am not doing that. And I will report if you do. I'd already reported them once, yes, for the people that I was working for. Within a week, I was blackballed. They used their popularity to blackball me. Yeah. Ruined my reputation. Called me a lot of names. It's taken me 4 years to recover. Okay. Why did I do that? Part of it was justice. I'd say 90% of it was justice. Okay. The other 10% was revenge. I'm going to call it what it is, man. There's nothing wrong. Okay. But see, revenge is only as revengey as you decide to make it. I did it the right way. What I did not do was go around talking shit. I stuck to facts. And now I'm seeing God's perfect justice. And even then, The person that they did the thing on, he's being set up. He's the fall guy. I called this a year ago. I'm like, that's what's going to happen next. And I know how to get him out of it. I do. I know exactly what he needs. So, yes, we found that dependence upon his perfect justice. Okay. Now, this next part, I had to utilize forgiveness and love. Whew, these people out here demolishing my reputation, saying that I'm hitting on wives. Yeah, you all know better than that, don't you? Brent, you've been around me long enough to know that I might flirt with you, but is it urgent?
Hello, I just wanted to tell you that I called the Marion Down Center, the place I got the hearing aids from, and I'm going to be able to get the...
Babe, I love you, but I'm live.
Oh, I didn't know you were still alive. I'm sorry.
Well, it's only been 30 minutes. But good news. I just didn't know if it was urgent. So, but good news. I love you.
$75. Love you, bye.
Love you. Bye. That was good news. My wife's hearing aids have been going out. She got them replaced, and they're going to take care of them for $75 instead of $600. See, thank you, God. Okay? Nothing happens in God's world by mistake. Even taking that phone call. Okay. And I took it because my wife carries a higher priority than the daily trudge. What was I just saying? You know how much I love my wife. Okay. So I will even go live. So anyway, and that would work where nothing else would. Now I wanted to get back to that forgiveness and love because I had to use this because that revenge portion was fucking me up. That revenge portion. Well, thank you, Brian. Yeah. I'm a Virgo. I flirt by nature. But I have learned emotional sobriety and I have learned how to love appropriately. Yes. Yes, I do. So, but that even that 10%, any percent that is going to be revengey is going to affect you. Okay. So how did I use forgiveness? Because love, I do love them. My one requirement for you to be loved by me is this, that you're a child of God. Well, there we go. That's all I need. Like is a much different. Like me liking you carries a much higher rating than my love. This is for me. Okay. So what did I have to use? Forgiveness. Now, I can't forgive them. That's not my job. I can't forgive them. That's God's job. So I had to go and forgive myself. Because even in the beginning of it started, you know what? I created some division. They're like, if they want to talk shit, I can talk shit with the best of them, man. So I did it too. That lasted about a month. And I'm like, Dion, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, no, we can't do it this way. So I made an amends to them. I'm willing to go to any, yes, and then to this day, they still do it. Does not matter. So I made the amends, and the answer was this. We're glad that you recognize. It was just a very narcissistic, because they are true narcissists. But anyway, so I had to do the forgiveness route. So I made an amends. Now, don't think that revenge didn't slip in there every now and again. Of course it did. Yes, it did. Howard B., his name. Did you mean hollow? I don't know, Howard. But yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And usually I don't do that, but I just want to make sure that, you know, whether I'm laughing at it or if you meant hallowed be thy name, I think is what you meant. So I'm going to go with that one. So, see, now there I didn't assume, I presumed. Never assume, always presume. And this is how you do it. I'm presuming I'm hearing this. Yes, you are. God if we really depended upon God, we couldn't very well play God to our fellows, nor would we feel the urge wholly to rely on human protection and care. These were the new attitudes that finally brought many of us an inner strength and peace that could not be deeply shaken by shortcomings of others or by any calamity not of our own making. What'd they say? Stay out of other people's drama. Right? There was a song in the 90s. It was called You Down with OPP. You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. OPP stands for other people's problem. Okay. I didn't want to assume, but that's funny. It's like he had a speech impediment when it was a little kid like, "Oh, Father, how will be his name?" It's just throwing a little something in there to mix it up a little bit. That was a good joke. It has been my experience that when all human resources appear to have failed, there is always one who will never desert me. Moreover, he is always there to share my joy, to steer me down the right path, and to confide in when no one else will do. And yeah, we were talking about OPP. That's right. My bad. Thank you for reminding me. All right. So, you see flashing lights outside of your house. Are you going to peek through the blinds for a while? Just admit it. Yes, you are. We're curious by nature. We alcoholics are curious by nature. And boy, do we love drama. Love it. We love drama, man. It comes with the territory. Okay? So, just try and stay away from other people's drama, man. It's none of our business. Not always, but God will give you I've always found that God gives me the right direction as long as I am willing and open-minded and being honest. See, if I perform his work well, everything just falls into place. It's exactly what happens, right? It's falling into place for me today. So, all right. So, yeah, save the drama for your mama. That's the saying. And even then, just keep it on the TV. That's where I keep my drama because that's where it belongs. And I watch a lot of dramas. I love a good moving story. I love it. Yeah. Okay. But it does not belong in our sphere anymore. What does drama include? Well, talk, shit talk. Did you hear what happened to somebody else? Now there's, I even put something out on Facebook and it was a little dramatic. It started with, "I told you so." But that's as dramatic as it's going to get. Now, why do alcoholics love drama so much? Because then we don't have to look at ourselves anymore. It is the process that frustrates pride. It is when Dion gets into drama, there's a comparison there. No, I should only compare me to one person, me from yesterday. Absolutely. Good orderly direction. Gad. It's just Gad. He is always there to share my joy, to steer me down the right path, and to confide in when no one else will do. While my well-being and happiness can be added to or diminished by human efforts, only God can provide the loving nourishment upon which I depend for my daily spiritual health. To me, my higher power is more like the father I never had. And I love it. I absolutely do. Um, yeah, I'm one of those alcoholics. I'm grateful to be an alcoholic, and the reason is because I don't know of any other reason in my life I would have sought for God, aside from the fact that I love the people in my life. And yes, I am willing to be an alcoholic to have those people in my life. Isn't that weird? No, not at all. It's actually the right thing to do. Give and take basis. I want to be part of a brotherhood, sisterhood. You bet. I love my fellowship. And it's one of the reasons I'm grateful to be an alcoholic. Because if we weren't alcoholics, I wouldn't know you. And I love knowing you. There's a lot of reasons to be grateful to be an alcoholic. Like, I get to save people's lives. And I'm not a doctor. I'm not, I'm just a guy in Norquin that can save other people's lives. Wow, what a gift. That is, I think being able to save other people's lives and families is probably the biggest gift ever. So, but it can be scary. It can be scary. So, all right. Thank you everybody for being here. Brent, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. I always like it when people ask questions and throw in jokes so we can disrupt it a little bit. It needs to happen. Because you're only going to listen to me for 10 to 12 minutes before you can't help it. But if I go, hallelujah, or something that's off, then you come back. And then what I do is I take that and I leeway it back into what we were talking about. I had so much fun for me. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. I love you.